Ben Silverio.
And I'm Ansel Burch.
And it's
Time to party. We are not doctors. We don't give medical advice. Please drink responsibly, ya heathens. Today's episode was recorded on April 16th, 2024. And no other times.
That's not the right song.
Nope.
That's definitely not the right song.
That's just Pachelbel's canon again. Yeah.
I know. I'm sorry. Whenever I think
all
of
things return to Pachelbel's canon.
I don't know why, but that's my default classical music song.
I mean, because you listen to a lot of pop music, and pop music listens to Pachelbel's canon.
Well, I mean, this talk about music is actually the perfect segue into our movie this month. Look at that. It's like we planned it.
Yeah. Almost as though. Almost as though. We should do more
Party
musical movies.
Oh my God. Yes. Let's please do more musicals. Do more time travel.
Hey. Yeah. It's on the time travel industry, really.
It's
fallen down on musicals.
What are y'all doing? I mean, Back to the Future, the musical is coming.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait. It'll be great.
We're gonna have to review that.
Oh God, I need to see how we do that. But while we
figure out logistics.
Yes. Well, while we do that, party people, welcome back to Time to Party, where it's all made up, and it matters.
It does matter.
Yeah. We are talking about an awesome movie this month. It is brand new, basically. It just dropped on Hulu. It had a very small theatrical run, but theatrical run nonetheless.
Impactful.
Absolutely. And it made waves at South by Southwest this year. I am talking about the 2024 film The Greatest Hits, starring Lucy Boynton, Justin H. Min, and David Cornsweet, who has been in the news because he's going to be the next Superman. Good for him.
Yeah, good for him. Proud of him.
He looks the part.
He does. He does. Yeah. Yeah, Ned pointed that out, and man, I can't unsee it now. Like, I know, right? Yeah, that boy's been fed a lot of corn, as they say.
Yes. Speaking of Ned, we are of course talking about writer director Ned Benson, and he is our special guest this month. So you'll be hearing a little bit from Ned as the month progresses.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully,
followed by a special episode of All Ned All the Time.
Yeah, on a very special episode of Time to Party.
Don't say it like that. It makes it sound like somebody dies.
Oh.
I mean, I guess Max dies.
Oh, spoiler.
For the premise of the film.
Well, party people, if you don't know what we're talking about, here's what our good friends at IMDb say. A love story centering on the connection between music and memory and how they transport us, sometimes literally. That didn't mention death at all.
No, it's weird, honestly.
Yeah, that's kind of a big part of it. But, like we do here at Time to Party, we like to give y'all a reason to check out this movie again and again, and maybe even again.
Yeah. One would hope.
Yeah, because, I like this movie a lot. I've seen it 3 times at this point.
That's a hell of an endorsement.
Yeah, but then again, my friends who all saw it at South by let me know immediately that this movie would be up my alley, and they were absolutely right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the reviews were a little bit back and forth on it, but man, there was no question for the two of us.
Oh yeah,
this is they made this movie for us, is what happened.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it. I did mention it in the interview how my high school years felt like The Perks of Being a Wallflower. My college years felt like 500 Days of Summer, and like the current period that I'm in is like this movie. So I definitely connected with it a lot.
It's a great piece. Great piece.
So
and everybody really brings such amazing performances.
Oh yes, we will absolutely be talking about that in our next episode when we review the movie and maybe share a little bit of our conversation with Ned. But before we get there, let's give y'all some drinking and smoking rules, huh?
Hell yeah.
Party favors?
Party favor time.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you want to start? You want to kick us off?
Yeah, you know, I do want to start by saying it is harder to do these for dramas. You know, because you're just so like it's like you're in it. You're in all the feels. So it's just like at that point you're just drinking because it's like, oh, feelings. But I got a few. I got a few good ones. So why don't we start with take a drink every time someone calls Harriet headphones?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that'll mess you up.
Yeah.
That's a sip rule.
Yeah, it happens a few times, but you know, when they reference her headphones, when they call her headphones, you know, it happens a little bit.
That's fantastic. I went a little bit more metatextual with my first one. I guess not metatextual, but I zoomed out a little bit. Take a drink every time you see her poor neglected dog that she inherited. Yeah.
Hey, he
just
he
there.
gets a walk, you know, by a dog walker, and
that's true. That's true. She snuggles him at one point, which was shortly after I wrote that down on my notepad. In fact, is when there was the overhead shot of her snuggling with the dog, and I was like, well, okay, I guess she's not completely ignoring the dog.
And then the dog remembers her in the next. Well, spoilers. Yeah, we don't usually touch on the spoilers.
Take a drink for the dog.
We don't usually share spoilers until the second episode.
I'll bleep it.
Yeah, you know, when the dog beep.
Maybe that's worse. I don't know. We'll find out.
We'll see. My next rule. This one happens a lot. So this one might be a sip rule too. Take a drink when someone loads a record.
Oh.
It might be Harriet. It might be Morris. It might be David.
Yeah, that's
a lot of, you know, a lot of that going on.
Almost as though it's very important to the plot of this film. Who would have thought? Every time we get a tight close-up that involves the ring that she has of a human being like hugging her finger, there's just for whatever reason it almost became like a second character in some ways. This like hug that's going on her finger in the tight foreground of so many shots. Why,
but I thought you were going to be like, it's almost like a conjoined twin. I don't know why it was going there.
She ate in the womb.
Oh my god!
And then polished.
This is a weird headcanon, Ansel.
Hey, I'm a weird guy.
My next rule is a shot, because you should treat yourself. Treat yourself to a shot for Retta, who plays the doctor in the support group.
Nice.
The Parks and Rec star is very funny, as y'all should know. But, you know, she's showing some range here, you know? Some dramatic chops.
My next rule is every time we have a wide shot with only one person in it. There's a fair amount of isolating wide shots in this movie.
Another meaningful element of the visual storytelling.
Yes.
Because, like, every little thing has meaning.
Yeah.
Here, you know, from the song choices to the shots, you know. It's
well, and I liked that they did like a certain amount of like stylistic material Like the opening of the movie has that like grainy pseudo 1980s feel that Taylor Swift has co-opted. Yeah, there's so much visual storytelling. I mean, granted, it's a movie, so
but there's also a lot of good
hope.
Foley in the beginning of the movie.
Oh yeah,
lots of great sound effects and audio storytelling. And I feel like this rule will really like. This is the one if you're gonna pick one, because like it happens a lot. Take a drink whenever Harriet glitches while she's time traveling.
Oh
yeah.
Oh, I like that. That's good. That's good. All right, so my last one is a shot rule as well. This one is a shot for the 1877 Cars for Kids.
My
jingle.
My last one too. Our generation just loves that song.
You'll know it when you get there.
Spoiler, not spoiler, but I don't think that's a spoiler.
I don't think that's a spoiler.
But it's great. Well, it's great. I love it. I'm glad that we talked about it with Ned, which you'll hear soon. But until then, why don't we touch base with Ned about some drinking rules? We here at Time to Party like to give a good reason for our listeners to rewatch these movies, so we give them some drinking and smoking rules so that they can follow along during their second time around, or their first time if they want, I guess. Who's to say? We're not going to judge. If you could create a rule for our listeners to follow, what would that be?
A rule to follow in what sense?
Like drink every time this happens, or something like that.
We like to look for something repeating that you might not otherwise have noticed was a theme. For example, in Terminator, we noticed that James Cameron loves to shoot from the wheels on the ground up.
Mm-hmm.
So every time you do wheels on the ground, that was a great drinking rule. It really showed us something about Cameron's shooting style.
There's a lot of like little Easter eggs in this movie. I don't know, I mean, I think if you look at the books in Harriet's life, there's like the Eckhart Tolle Power of Now next to her chair, and then at the end of the movie, there's the Musicophilia Oliver Sacks book that she's carrying around. I mean, there's a lot of like hi-fi Easter eggs too, but I'm trying to think like what would like. My mom
maybe
makes
just every time we zoom in on a title.
Yeah,
that's something that you came back to a lot.
Yeah, that could be a good one. I'm trying to think, just like we had a lot of like, I mean, we're doing a lot of push-ins on sliders and stuff. So like if you look for particularly the one on the needle on the record, or like Harriet sitting there, or just like if you look at the needle on the record every time there's time travel happening, the needle and the record have an interaction. So even in the first shot, like paying attention to like it's subtle, but if you look closely, you'll see that sort of connection start to glow. So I think maybe every time you see one of those glows, you can have a shot.
Awesome.
I love that. I really liked what he suggested. The sort of every time the record player hits the needle and you see that little bit of light that's almost serves as our time machine.
I love that little bit of magic.
Mm-hmm. It was nice that it was like reserved and subtle, but still like very clear. The needle became almost like their DeLorean, but I don't know for you. Okay. Well, we can talk about it during the review,
and that's a good reason for you guys to come back. Tune in next week.
Yeah, I've got a question I got to lead off with.
We're gonna leave you with a cliffhanger right there.
What point was he going to make? Was it salient? I don't know.
All right, party people. Well, tune in next week for our review of the greatest hits teaser. If you haven't figured it out already, I liked it a lot.
Same. Yeah. I'm not going to keep you in suspense on that.
So tune in on wherever you're listening to podcasts, whatever you're using to listen to this on right now. Until then, you can find the internet. I'm at bsilverio20 on Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky. You know, I'm on LinkedIn too, I guess. But
sure. I am at Indecisionist on Instagram and at The Indecisionist everywhere else, including all the meta properties, which is probably where you're going to find me.
Farmers Only.
Yeah. Yep.
Ansel's there too.
Yep. Well, I mean, on a technicality,
Sure.
they
Comes with
required
a
it,
beard.
apparently. Oh, you grew up near cows? All right. Well,
Here's your free subscription.
I didn't sign up for this. Well, we got 12 dates for you to go on, and you're behind schedule, so come on.
If you want to join in the conversation, you can use the hashtag #time2party. That's time the number 2 party.
Or time the number 2 party, all spelled out, thanks to Warwick.
Yes, and while you are busy living your dash, I want you to remember to be excellent to each other.
And party on, dudes.